afternoon, or good morning, or good evening, depending on wherever you're at. This is Truly Sinister, and my name's Wendy. And it's been a while. I tried to come on Friday, I think, and there were too many people running around the house, and it seems like nobody wants to be in the house. My husband's never in the house because he's working out in the shop. And then as soon as I want to come on, everybody all of a sudden is either hungry or wants to come in because it's hot and they want to watch TV or sit in the under the fan. I mean, it's like, are you flipping kidding me? I don't ask for much, you know. It's like I don't understand what's so hard about. I put a sign on the door, and here we go. See, this is exactly what I was talking about. Never fails. Whenever I decide to go live, somebody wants to come in the house. Never freaking fails.
Why does it matter?
It'd be nice to have the room to myself for once in a while. But anyway, so yeah, that's why it was cut short. I believe that was Friday, but yeah, nobody ever wants to come in the house until I decide to go live, and then it's like everybody decides to come in. Um, I need my own space, my own room. So I think I'm gonna turn part of the garage into like a little office, put up some temporary walls or something, and see what I can do with that. I don't know. We'll figure something out, but I definitely need something that's not in the middle of everybody's gathering spot, everybody's eating spot, and everybody's TV spot. It's not fair to them, and it's not fair to me. So anyway, um, today I just wanted to go over. There were some droppings in the Kelsey Fitzsimmons um, custody case. They were actually filed on the 3rd, which I guess was what Thursday, Friday, and I just got to see him. I just got to look at him today, so I wanted to go over those. Um, but she's got a fight on her hands. I don't think Justin's mom is going to give up that baby very easily without a fight, even though it's not her baby, but she would like it to be, I think, in some sick, morbid way. I definitely don't think that the baby's bassinet is in Justin's room. I bet it's in his mom's room, which is weird in and of itself. It's just creepy. That whole family's creepy. There's just something not right about them. But anyway, love is blind, I guess. So, she is. I believe they have a hearing this. Is it this week? Or I believe it's this week. Maybe next week. No, Turtle Boy has a hearing this week. Um, but yeah, Kelsey's got a big fight headed her way, but I think she's up for it. Especially, she's probably got a fresh energy charge from the way her criminal trial ended up, which we all knew it would. We knew that there's no way she could be found guilty, and even if she was, it wasn't like she was going to get any jail time. She'd already served more time than what she would have been sentenced to, because she would have been sentenced to probation. So there's that. Um, but it'll be interesting if she sticks around North Andover. I wouldn't, but the Elayans will probably put some kind of special clause in the joint custody paperwork that says that she can't move out of town or something, but I wouldn't want to live there. She's got a target on her back now between Justin's family and the cops that, thought Noonan was telling the truth and thought she was lying. Um, Not to mention Noonan is still on the streets patrolling keeping the city safe, which he needs to be evaluated, I think. But all good time. Everything will be found out. I believe Justin is still on suspension or administrative leave or paid leave or whatever. Um, I don't think he's had a hearing or anything yet about his job, but I can't even, I hope they drug tested him already, because if they didn't, he just had all this time to, detox his system and get the shit out of his system. But I believe they are going to do either a cuticle test or a hair follicle test, which it's harder to flush the drugs out of your system that way. So, but I think the longer they wait, the less they're going to find. And I bet you he's got a whole variety of uh, narcotics in his hair follicles. Um, just the ones that we know about are what um, psychedelic mushrooms, acid, pot, and alcohol. He admitted to Kelsey that he was um, having DT symptoms at work, and so he's having to drink the cooking wine to stop from shaking, which is pretty scary. And when his fireman brethren heard that, I wish I could have been a fly on the wall for that, because they put their lives in each other's hands just as much as we put our lives in their hands. So I'm sure it came as a huge and disappointing surprise when they heard that. Now, whether they believe it or not, I don't know. But why would she lie about that? She would have no reason to bring that up and just make a lie out of nowhere about that. There's plenty of drug stories that she didn't need the alcohol story. But yeah, and the fact that he put the psychedelic mushrooms in her uh, glove box, and I know why, because he was pulled over and arrested for trafficking narcotics when he was 19, and he knew that if he got caught again, it would be all over for him. Not to mention he's a fireman, so he would definitely lose his job and his licensing and everything else, or certifications or whatever. But I find it funny that he is an EMT slash or medic slash fireman, because they usually run in when everybody else is running out, and he was the first one out of that house when that gunfire rang out. And if he ever loved Kelsey, how could he leave not knowing whether or not it was her that was shot? I mean, that just proves right there he never, ever, ever, ever loved her. I think his mom pushed him into a relationship with her because she wanted a grandchild to carry on their name. That's what I think. And once he got her pregnant and he had a boy, then the plan was in motion to get rid of Kelsey, get custody of their son, and live happily ever after. I don't think they expected Kelsey to put up a fight like this, and I don't know why they wouldn't. Look what his mom does for him. So why wouldn't Kelsey go above and beyond for her baby? But that whole family's whacked. They definitely have a few screws loose, and his sister Ashley already threatened Kelsey, and she's the one that's been in and out of jail and has, the drug problem and the problems with the law. And so, that's one thing Kelsey has to keep looking over her shoulder for the next umpteen years, is that. So, I don't know. I just feel for her. She's stuck there with these people. Who wants to live there? I wouldn't. So, anyway, we're going to go over those filings, and I believe that's about it. I haven't slept yet, so I am hopefully going to take a nap after this. I was working on a sprinkler and I got pissed off, so before I broke it, I just quit. I need to go fix that too before the sprinklers come on and I have a mess. We have this real sandy dirt in our backyard, and so you dig out around the sprinkler to, screw it in or whatever, and you have to turn on the sprinkler to clean out the pipes, and the fucking sand just fills the fittings in before you can even get them screwed in. So I have a big mess out there, a big hole, because it keeps collapsing on me. It's a piece of shit. I hate it, but I will figure it out. And I believe that's So let's get on with it. Let me see what I can find. Of course, I emailed it to myself, but the email's just a fucking link. So I have to look it up anyway. Again. But, here we go. I don't know why probate and family court are in the same building, or in the same courtroom. That's crazy. It's kind of creepy, if you ask me. So the Glare raised $25,000 for her in his 12-hour fundraiser the other night, which is awesome. It's a lot of money. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's get rid of this. Okay. So this is the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the Trial Court, Probate and Family Court Department. Justin is plaintiff, Kelsey is defendant. This is plaintiff's verified motion for appointment of Category E guardian ad litem. Now comes the plaintiff, Justin C. Elaine, hereinafter father, and respectfully moves this honorable court to appoint a suitable person as a Category E guardian ad litem pursuant to GLC 215, Section 56A, to investigate the issues of mental health, physical custody, legal custody, and a parenting plan relative to the minor child. Has to kill him to be writing this, I'm sure. In support hereof, Father incorporates by reference plaintiff's verified motion for temporary orders filed herewith and further states as follows. Kelsey Fitzsimmons and Father have one child together, Caden Elaine, age 13 months. He doesn't have a middle name. That's weird. Age 13 months, date of birth February 16, 2025. 2. The parties last lived together on or around June 28, 2025 at 125 Phillips Brooks Road, North Andover. 3. On July 1, 2025, Father filed a complaint for custody, support, and parenting time amended on August 8, 2025, requesting legal and physical custody of Caden. Number 4, on October 22nd, 2025, Mother and Father entered into a stipulation for temporary orders on Father's verified motion for temporary orders, agreeing that Father be granted legal and physical custody of Caden. The parties further agreed that Mother shall have no parenting time, as Mother was ordered to remain away from Caden pending her criminal trial for assault with a dangerous weapon in Essex Superior Court. Number 5. Throughout the parties' relationship, Mother frequently exhibited erratic and aggressive behavior, causing significant problems in the parties' co-parenting relationship, as factually detailed within plaintiff's verified motion for temporary orders, filed herewith and incorporated by reference. Number 6. Father is deeply concerned about the child's safety and the status of Mother's mental health. Number 7. he's not going to let this go. Father has repeatedly made efforts to co-parent effectively in the best interest of Caden. Father is concerned that mother's previous violent tendencies and struggles relative to her mental health will negatively impact mother's ability to parent Caden. She's been cleared. She has no mental health issues anymore. The doctor cleared her and said that they don't postpartum doesn't last forever. It's not like a mental disease or psychological psych disease like what am I thinking of? Bipolar or schizophrenia or anything like that, where once you get it, you have it for life. Postpartum goes away once it's treated. So the doctor gave her a clean bill of health, which means she no longer has it. Number 8, Caden is currently 13 months old and unable to communicate about his safety and well-being while in mother's care. Number 9, given these circumstances and the fact that mother's criminal trial is over, it is in the child's best interest that this court appoint a Category E guardian ad litem to provide the court with information in terms of understanding the state of mother's mental health and what an appropriate custody and parenting plan should be given the circumstances of this case and the child's age. Number 10, in further support of this motion, Father relies on arguments advanced by counsel at the time of the hearing on this matter. Wherefore, Father moves this honorable court to 1, enter an order appointing a Category E guardian ad litem to investigate and make recommendations on the issues of mental health, physical custody, legal custody, and a parenting plan. Order that both parties be equally responsible for the payment of all expenses related to the guardian ad litem. He sure is worried about money all the time. Piece of shit. Permit counsel for each party to obtain a copy of the guardian ad litem report, provided that neither party shall release to the parties or any other third parties any copies of the guardian ad litem report, and for the parties to review such report in the offices of their respective counsel. Verification signed under penalties of perjury. That doesn't look like his writing. That's not the same writing that is on all the other paperwork that he's ever filed. Present the within verified motion for appointment on Thursday. So they have another hearing on Thursday, April 23rd at 8:30 a.m. at the Essex Probate and Family Court in Salem. Ooh. So, yeah. He's always worried about the whole money thing. It's kind of irritating, to be honest with you. And especially now that he's probably going to lose his job, which, of course, he should. There's no doubt about that. Let me see what the next one is. There's only 2, I believe, but this one's a little bit longer. Okay. Yeah, this one's longer. Okay, Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the Trial Court Probate and Family Court Department. Plaintiff's verified motion for further temporary orders. Now comes the plaintiff, Justin C. Elaine, in the above captioned matter, and by his counsel and respectfully moves this honorable court to enter the following temporary orders with regard to the above captioned matter. All references to parties herein shall mean the father and the defendant, Kelsey E. Fitzsimmons' mother, collectively. Piece of shit. 1. Custody and parenting time. Now remember, his parents do this for a living. They file this kind of paperwork they help people finagle and work the courts to get custody of their children. That's what they do for a living, and I hear they're very, very, very good at it. So that's how he knows what to write, what words to use. There's certain words that are action words that, um, initiate immediate action from the courts. And he already proved he knows how to use those words when he got the emergency restraining order, which was the catalyst of all this. So, anyway. 1. Custody and parenting time. The father shall continue to have legal and physical custody of the party's child, Caden D. His middle name starts with a D. Elaine, age 13 months. 2. Mother's supervised parenting time. Mother shall have weekly supervised parenting time with the child, one time per week for up to 5 hours at the Center for Achieving Balance for Children located in Medford, Middlesex County, Massachusetts, until further agreement of the parties or court order. And I can guarantee she's going to file for a court order. She's not going to let him dictate what is going to be happening. Mother shall be responsible for any and all costs relative to supervision services. The Supervision Center shall comply with Massachusetts Probate and Family Court Standing Order 1-23, which incorporates the guidelines for professional parenting time supervisors, including but not limited to maintaining observation notes, reports, and supervised parenting time logs, which shall be provided to counsel for the parties. 3. Social media. Both parties shall be prohibited from posting photographs and or videos of the child and all communications relative to the child, including but not limited to communications on Our Family Wizard, on the internet, and on any and all forms of social media, and shall not permit any third party to do so until further agreement of the parties or court order. 4. Mother's mental health treatment. The mother shall continue to participate in her mental health treatment. Father through counsel shall be provided with information relative to what mental health treatment that the mother is receiving. It's none of his fucking business anymore. That's a HIPAA violation. I don't see how that can be granted by the court. I would definitely fight that. It's none of his business. 5. Hair follicle test. Mother shall submit to a 14-panel. Are you fucking kidding me? She's never been proven to ever take drugs. She was a cop. He's the one that's taking the drugs. Wow. 14-panel hair follicle test within 5 days of the issuance of this order to test for drugs and alcohol. Mother shall provide father, through counsel, the results of said hair follicle test immediately upon receipt of the same. 6. Our Family Wizard. The parties shall forthwith download Our Family Wizard. The parties shall communicate via OFW only, absent emergency, relative to the child. The parties shall not disseminate or copy any OFW communications between them, except with their respective legal counsel. 7. Review date. This matter shall be scheduled for a review hearing on or around 60 days. As grounds, therefore, the father states as follows. Roman numeral 1, brief background and procedural history. 1, the parties were never married and have one child together. 2, the parties last resided together with the child at Phillips Brooks Road. 3, the father presently resides with the child at his parents' home located at 28 Maple Street, Stowe, Middlesex County, Massachusetts. Number 4, the father does not currently know for certain where the mother resides, but upon information and belief, father believes she now resides in Newburyport, Essex County, Massachusetts. Number 5, the father is employed as an EMT firefighter with the North Andover Fire Department and is currently on paid administrative leave. Not for long you're not employed. The mother was formerly employed as a police officer at the North Andover Police Department. On July 25, mother's law enforcement certification was suspended. Upon information and belief, mother's employment with the town of North Andover was terminated. It is unknown as to whether or not mother is presently employed. Number 7. On or about June 30th, 2025, the father sought and obtained an emergency abuse prevention order from the Essex County Probate and Family Court, granting him custody of the child and ordering mother to have no contact with father or the child. Number 8. On or about July 1, 2025, father filed a complaint for custody, support, parenting time pursuant to MGL in the Essex Probate and Family Court. On or about July 3rd, 2025, mother was criminally charged with armed assault to... She was not criminally charged with armed assault to murder. They didn't indict her on that. They couldn't get an indictment from the grand jury. What the assault with a dangerous weapon and assault with a dangerous weapon. She had one charge, and it was assault with a dangerous weapon. That was it. Wow. Mother was subsequently indicted for assault with a dangerous weapon. Okay, that's better. But they just had to throw the murder thing in there. He's dirty. An extension hearing on father's 209A abuse prevention order against mother issued on June 30th, 2025 was scheduled for July 14th, 2025. On or about July 11th, 2025, mother, through counsel, requested a continuance of the 209A extension hearing, to which father agreed. A joint motion to continue was filed on July 11th, which was allowed. The court extended the 209A order and continued the extension hearing to August 1, 2025. Just one second. I have a really bad cotton mouth. Okay. On or about August 1, 2025, counsel for both parties and father appeared for the extension hearing. The court's calendar could not accommodate a full evidentiary hearing, and as such, the court extended the 209A order and continued the extension hearing to September 23rd, 2025 at 8:30 a.m. at Essex Probate and Family Court in Salem before the Honorable Mary Black. Number 12. On or about August 8th, 2025, father filed an amended complaint for custody, support parenting time pursuant to MGL in the Essex Probate Family Court. The mother was served with the father's complaint for custody, support parenting time on September 5th, 2025. Number 13. On or about September 16th, 2025, the father filed a verified motion for temporary order, a motion to attach real estate for the payment of child support, and an affidavit in support thereof. Number 14. On or about October 15th, 2025, father filed plaintiff's verified emergency ex parte motion to advance motion hearing and an affidavit of counsel in support thereof. On or about October 15th, father filed a motion for short order of notice on plaintiff's verified motion for temporary orders, which was allowed by the court that same day. I'm not sure what all that is. 16. On or about October 15th, after administrative review, the court issued a short order scheduling a hearing on father's verified motion for temporary orders and motion to attach real estate for payment of child support. The review was scheduled for October 23rd, 2025. Number 17. On or about October 22nd, 2025, the mother filed defendant's motion for writ of habeas corpus due to mother's then incarceration, which was allowed by the court after administrative review that same day. Number 18, on or about October 22nd, the mother filed assented to motion to file a answer and counterclaim late, which was allowed by the court on October 24th, and mother's answer and counterclaim to father's amended complaint. Number 19, some typos here. On or about October 26, 2025, the parties filed parties' joint memorandum regarding venue. On or about October 21st, 2025, the parties entered into a stipulation for temporary orders on plaintiff's verified motion for temporary orders, which provided in pertinent part as follows. A. Custody and parenting time. The father shall have legal and physical custody of the party's child. The parties acknowledge that on or about June 30, 2025, father sought and obtained an abuse prevention order. The father was granted custody of the child, and the mother was ordered not to contact the father or child. The matter scheduled for a two-party evidentiary hearing was scheduled for two-party evidentiary hearing on December 2nd, 2025. The parties further acknowledge that the mother is currently being held without bail in Western Massachusetts. Why is he saying that? Because this was filed. When was this filed? On Thursday, 4/3/26. And he's writing as present day that she is currently being held without bail in Western Massachusetts Regional Correctional Center. How can he do that? I don't know. Oh, he must be writing it. Okay, so on or about October 21st. Okay, so that's when they're talking about. Okay, never mind. Um, okay, in that matter, mother was ordered to remain away from the child. As such, mother shall have no parenting time. B. Child support. Commencing on October 23rd, 2025, mother shall pay child support to the father in the amount of $12 per week, pursuant to the payment method described in paragraph 3 below. The parties acknowledge that the child support payment of $12 per week is the minimum child support order pursuant to the Massachusetts Child Support Guidelines. C. Child support payment method. The parties agree and acknowledge that the mother holds title to the real property located at Phillips Road. The parties also agree and acknowledge that on August 22nd, 2025, the mother listed the property for sale, and the mother has accepted a contingent offer to purchase the North Andover property. From the mother's net proceeds from the sale of the North Andover property, $50,000 shall be held by the father's counsel and father's counsel's account to secure mother's as set forth above in the stipulation. Following the closing on the North Andover property and father's counsel's receipt of $50,000 from mother's net proceeds of the sale, father's counsel shall disperse $12 per week to the father from the escrow account on a monthly basis to satisfy mother's weekly child support obligation to the father. That probably pissed him off so bad. Father's counsel shall provide an accounting of the escrowed funds to mother's counsel upon request. D. Health insurance for the child. The father shall maintain his employer-sponsored medical insurance for the child if, as, and when the child ceases to be covered under mother's health insurance. He won't have any for much longer either. E. Uninsured medical, dental, and vision expenses for the child. The parties shall share equally 50-50 in any and all uninsured medical, dental, therapeutic, and or orthodontic expenses for the child, with father covering the first $250 per year in uninsured expenses. On a monthly basis, the father shall submit to father's counsel in writing proof of payment of any and all uninsured expenses, including but not limited to receipts, invoices, and or bank or credit card statements. Father's counsel shall then submit the same to mother's counsel, who shall confirm the receipt of same in writing. Upon mother's counsel's written confirmation of receipt, the father's counsel shall withdraw an amount equal to 50% of the total uninsured expenses paid by the father from the escrowed funds and pay such amount to the father on the same day that the father receives monthly child support payment. Child care and daycare. The parties shall share equally 50-50 in any and all child care and or daycare expenses for the child. On a monthly basis, the father shall submit to father's counsel in writing proof of payment of any such expenses, including receipts, invoices, and bank credit and or bank or credit card statements. Okay, so and that's the rest of it's basically saying the same thing as the first one. G. Communication between the parties. As noted above, pursuant to 209A order, the mother is prohibited from contacting the father and the child. That said, the parties agree that father will share updates about the child, such as his diet, general well-being, development, medical, dental appointments, new activities, discoveries, evolving likes and dislikes, milestones, for example, first steps, first words, as well as photographs and or videos of the child to the father's counsel on the 15th and 30th of every month. Father's counsel shall share the same with mother's counsel within 24 hours of receipt of same. Child's baptism. If and or when the child is baptized, the father shall ensure that the ceremony is video recorded. The father shall send father's counsel the video of baptism that same day, and the father's counsel shall forward the same to mother's counsel. The parties agree that the mother's sister may attend the baptism. Uh, okay, this is basically okay, this is talking about the changes in her release, conditions of her release. On or about March 12, 2026, the Superior Court, J. Carp, issued an order amending the condition of the mother's release. The modified conditions were as follows. This is back in when he before her trial. Um, Defendant allowed to change address, strike requirement that she reside with William and Lauren Page, strike the requirement that she stay away and have no contact with her child, require home inspections and searches by the probation department for the presence of weapons and alcohol. Um, and then they scheduled a hearing on Kelsey's motion for further temporary orders and an affidavit in support thereof for April 23rd, 2026. Uh, it gives her verdict. Then Roman numeral 2, legal standard, A, custody. Quote, in issuing any temporary or permanent custody orders, the probate and family court shall consider evidence of past or present abuse towards a parent or child as a factor contrary to the best interest of the child, end quote. Quote, where there is a finding of a pattern or serious incident of abuse, end quote, the judge must employ a rebuttable presumption that sole or shared custody with the abusive parent is not in the child's best interest. Quote, while there is no definitive checklist of factors to best interests of the child, we consider certain constants such as which parent has been the primary caretaker of and formed the strongest bonds with the child, the need for stability and continuity in the child's life, the decision making capabilities of each parent to address the child's needs, and the living arrangements and lifestyles of each parent and how such circumstances may affect the child. End quote. Well, I would venture to say that Justin, being 30 years old, 32 or whatever, as well as his adult sisters and adult brother, all living under the same roof as their parents, is definitely a living arrangement that should be evaluated for the best interest of that child. How many frickin' people can fit in one fucking house? That's ridiculous. If he can't provide the baby with their own home, then he needs to give up custody. That's just crazy. That's how many people. There's 4 kids, 2 parents, so it's 6. Well, they're not even kids, they're adults. So there's 6 adults and a baby living there. Right. And it's not a big house. For joint custody or shared responsibility to work, both parents must be able to mutually agree on basic issues in child rearing and want to cooperate in making decisions for their children. Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 208, governs the custody of children in Massachusetts, which defines shared legal custody as quote-unquote continued mutual responsibility and involvement by both parents in major decisions regarding the child's welfare, including matters of education, medical care, and emotional, moral, and religious development. Joint legal custody requires parents to have quote-unquote a willingness and ability to work together to reach results on major decisions in a manner similar to the way married couples make decisions. Joint legal custody is synonymous with joint decision making and a common desire to promote the children's best interests. As such, parties sharing legal custody of a child must have open communication and dialogue on all major life issues and decisions concerning the child. Parties must work together to ensure that all decisions are made after a meeting of the minds between both parents. I know, well, that's going to work out for them. Roman numeral 3 argument. A. The child is healthy, thriving, and well cared for. As noted above and pursuant to several court orders, the father has had legal and physical custody of the child since June 30th, 2025, which is just over 9 months. The child is healthy, thriving, well cared for, and is meeting all of his development milestones. Prior to the birth of the child and while mother was pregnant, father attended all OBGYN appointments with mother. Oh, what a guy. Father also attended in-person mental health appointments for the mother during her pregnancy to ensure both her and the baby's well-being. Since Caden was born, the father has attended the vast majority of all of his scheduled pediatric appointments. Why? Well, he should be going to all of them. He shouldn't be depending on anybody for that type of care, since she can't take him. Prior to the parties' separation, when the father was not working to financially support the family, oh yeah, oh, that made me laugh. The father was at home taking care of the child. Okay. Okay. They're so stupid. Who's going to believe that? Wow. On or about June 30th, 2025, father was granted legal and physical custody of the child pursuant to the 209A abuse prevention order he obtained against mother. On or about October 21, 2025, the parties agreed father would continue to have legal and physical custody of the child and that the mother would have no parenting time. Oh, Lord. Since obtaining legal and physical custody of the child nearly 9 months ago, the father has been the child's primary caregiver. Father is responsible for Caden's day-to-day care, including but not limited to feeding him, clothing him, bathing him, putting him to bed, playing with him, reading to him, scheduling and transporting him to his medical appointments, etc. When the father is at work, the father's parents, Caden's paternal grandparents, care for the child. They should go do a surprise home check of his parents' home, and I guarantee you, if you don't give them any heads up, they're gonna find the crib in Justin's mom's bedroom, not Justin's. I guarantee it. That he doesn't sleep with that baby in his room. No fucking way. Wow. Since June 30th, 2025, the child's pediatrician has confirmed several times in office visit notes that the child is quote unquote doing very well, and on at least one occasion notes that this is particularly due to him living with the father and the father's family in Stowe. I don't know of any doctor that would ever say that. None. They can't, they can't say that because they can't determine if that's true. There's no way to prove that he's doing well because it's due to him living with them. There's no way to prove that. He's just doing well. In or around July of 2025, the father enrolled the child in early intervention with Minuteman ARC for Human Services. The father and the child initially met with Kathy Romeo, hereinafter Miss Romeo, an EI development specialist every week. At the recommendation of Miss Romeo, and as a result of the child's progress, the visits were reduced to biweekly beginning in September 2025 and then to monthly in January 2026. Miss Romeo has stated in her notes that the child, quote unquote, continues to make great progress, is getting stronger and growing, and is a good eater. Miss Romeo has further noted that, quote unquote, Dad continues to be the child's favorite person, that father and the child have a healthy attachment, and that socially the child continues to be doing great. Miss Romeo has also noted that Dad is doing a great job despite all the stresses of single parenting and the stress of the legal side of things, and that she is impressed by the father and how he's handling the situation. He is a great and attentive dad who is always looking to do what is best for the child. Miss Romeo further notes that the child is, quote unquote, very well cared for and has a great support system. According to a recent early intervention development update dated March 31st, 2026, Miss Romeo notes a, quote unquote, very happy, healthy 12-month-old little boy who's growing and thriving in his current environment. And then she wrote a letter that they attached. Miss Romeo notes that the father, quote, has been present and fully engaged at every visit, end quote. That the child has made excellent developmental progress and is currently meeting all age-appropriate milestones, and that the child is securely attached to the father. Ms. Romeo specifically notes that the child is, he just keeps throwing that in there. It's got to break her heart. It makes me angry every time I read something like that. It's like he's just twisting the knife. Ms. Romeo specifically notes that the child is cautious around new people and unfamiliar situations, preferring to be held only by father when he feels unsure. According to Ms. Romeo, the child has, quote unquote, showed all the signs that he felt safe, supported, and well connected to his caregiver, and that it is clear that his progress is a direct result of the consistent love, attentive care, and nurturing interactions he receives daily. During Miss Romeo's time working with the father and the child, she has made recommendations relative to the father consulting with additional specialists. At Miss Romeo's recommendation, the father began consulting with Catherine Manfield, a social worker at Minuteman ARC, on a regular basis relative to parenting and support. Father also began consulting with the nutritionist at Minuteman ARC, Karen Castro, to learn more about how to help support the child in learning how to self-feed, which he has been struggling with. On or about September 3rd, 2025, the child underwent a necessary hernia surgery that mother previously informed father she unilaterally canceled without father's consent. The surgery was successful and the child recovered quickly. Father is committed to ensuring that the child is safe, healthy, loved, and well cared for, which, according to father's support system and the above mentioned professionals, he is successfully accomplishing. B. The father has serious concerns relative to the mother's ability to properly care for the child. Father's primary concern is for the child's safety. While the father acknowledges that the Essex Superior Court, J. Carp, found the mother not guilty of assault by means of a dangerous weapon, the disposition of mother's criminal matter has no bearing on the present custody matter. So quit bringing it up. At her criminal trial, and only a few days ago, the mother testified under oath that she held a gun to her head and pulled the trigger with the intention to kill herself, all while she believed that the child was just downstairs. Mother has a long history of mental health issues, and it is entirely unclear to the father and the court what her mental status is and what treatment, if any, Mother is currently receiving or has received since June 30th. Mother has candidly and publicly acknowledged her mental health struggles and has made no indication that she believes that the father does not have the child's best interests at heart. Mother has also acknowledged the impact that her postpartum struggles has had on both parties. In a letter that Mother wrote to Father shortly before June 30th, 2025, Mother wrote in pertinent part as follows. Quote, I am truly and deeply sorry about how pregnancy and postpartum has affected you. You met Kelsey Erin Fitzsimmons, the strongest, free-willed, happiest, carefree girl. I'm assuming that's the girl you fell in love with. She's also the girl I've been grieving and searching for since losing her. Uh, Being a parent is one of the most overwhelming experiences of my life. While I have been navigating the emotional whirl and physical challenges of postpartum, I have undoubtedly changed slash shaped me as a person. I have been struggling that, in parentheses, which you have been to, with the fact that my livelihood was taken away and was almost taken away indefinitely. My mood changes, anger, lack of connection were never about you, Justin. I do see how my struggles have caused you pain, confusion, and distance between us, and for that I am deeply sorry for how I have treated you, taken my anger out on you, and used you as my personal. Oh shit, Kelsey. And used you as my personal punching bag. Oh my god, why would she write this? And he was just recently given this? Oh my. After her trial? Fuck. That's not good. Holy shit. It was never deserved or right. I have wanted to spill my pain into your life, but I know I have, and I don't think she said, I think she meant to say I haven't wanted. But I know I have, and I know that is wrong. Thank you for being there when I could not mentally show up. You are the most patient, amazing man I have ever met. When I say that, I mean it, Justin. I have felt the weight of the whole world leave my shoulders. With the direction my life is going, I feel really happy, optimistic. I see a future, and I feel like I have a great purpose again. Have a purpose again. It was extremely scary for me to lack those feelings, and I selfishly took it out on you because I was jealous. I know you are my biggest supporter, my right man, my rock. I thank you immensely for your patience, even when I was distant and took it for granted. I hope you continue this path with me as I recover, because there's nothing more I want than more of those things. You are my soulmate in this life and time, and the very best daddy to Cade. Wow. Why would they give that to him now? Oh my god. Okay, here's the footnotes. On or about December 9th, 2025, the father said served Mother with the first set of interrogatories propounded by the plaintiff to be answered under oath by the defendant. In interrogatory number 6, Father specifically inquired into any health and or mental diagnosis conditions that Mother is currently suffering from, the healthcare professionals or treating with for these conditions, and whether she is currently prescribed medication in connection with any of these diagnoses, and the type and dosage of any such medication. Mother failed to answer interrogatory number 6, instead stating that she will provide an answer to this interrogatory once her criminal trial concluded. Mother has yet to provide any such answer. Mother also indicated in her answer to interrogatory number 10 that she is and or have been in therapy with Dr. Paul Zeisel, Dr. Meisel at MGH, and Dr. Father has not been provided with any other information relative to mother counseling, mental health, or alcohol/drug treatment. Um, okay. I can't believe she wrote that in that letter. Fuck. Has a long history of threatening to harm herself and others and has inflicted physical harm on Father and several other identified individuals over the last couple of years, both before, during, and after her pregnancy with Caden. Below is a summary of several examples of Mother's seriously concerning behavior that she exhibited before, during, and after pregnancy that demonstrate that she is not currently capable of properly caring for a 13-month-old child without professional supervision. Violent and concerning behavior exhibited by Mother prior to Mother's pregnancy. Mother has suffered from mental health issues long before she became pregnant with the child and has a lengthy history of lashing out and physically assaulting others. A few examples are as follows. In or around 2018, the mother was arrested and charged with intoxication and disruptive behavior, which she pled guilty to. She was in college. Who doesn't drink and party in college? Mother was also charged with malicious conduct by a prisoner in connection with this arrest, which was the result of Mother spitting at a police officer while in custody. This charge was dropped. In or around 2019, the mother was charged with simple assault against a male victim of which she had a personal relationship with, which she pled guilty to. Part of Mother's condition of release was that she was to abstain from alcohol. According to Mother's answer to interrogatory number 8, which asks in part if Mother has ever pled guilty or no contest to and or been convicted of a felony or misdemeanor, Mother pled to a lesser charge of simple assault and was given supervised probation for 12 months and 100 hours of community service. Mother further answered that, quote, for all other inquiries contained in interrogatory number 8, I have a criminal trial scheduled for March 23rd, 2026, and upon advice of legal counsel, I am invoking my Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. I will provide my answer once the trial concludes. Mother has yet to supplement her answer. Upon information and belief, the mother attempted suicide in high school. Upon information and belief, the mother physically assaulted 2 of her former boyfriends, Mr. Evan Ferrer, who worked for the Massachusetts State Police at the time, and Mr. John Minotti. Upon information and belief, in February 2023, the mother punched her friend and bridesmaid Michelle. I think that's a typo, in the face. Then they have Exhibit C is the transcript of her deposition. Michelle testified under oath that when her and Mother were in a car, the mother started yelling at her and punched her in the face out of the blue. Well, if you remember how she acted on the stand, I don't blame her. She was a complete, you know what? She had attitude. Oh. Okay, number 2, Mother's violent and dangerous behavior exhibited during Mother's pregnancy that caused the father serious concerns relative to the well-being of the parties and their unborn child. A, September 2024. On or about September 5th, 2024, the parties attended a quote-unquote welcome party of Father's childhood friend in York, Maine. During the event, Mother stood directly beside Father while Father spoke briefly with a female neighbor that Father had grown up with. It was a friendly, harmless conversation. Maybe she was waiting for you to introduce her. You ever think about that? After the event, Mother drove the parties home. During the drive home, Mother, who was pregnant at the time, became enraged, accusing Father of excluding her from the conversation and of allowing the female neighbor to place a hand on Father's arm during the conversation. Mother grew increasingly agitated and began screaming and swearing at Father. As her anger escalated, Mother started accelerating at extremely dangerous speeds, reaching upwards of 110 miles per hour. Despite father's attempts to calm the mother down and assure her that the conversation was harmless, she continued yelling that the father was a quote unquote asshole and that father, quote, better find a new place to live, end quote. Throughout the entire ride home, Mother paid very little attention to the road or surrounding vehicles. Mother's speed combined with her emotional volatility created an extremely dangerous situation. At several points, Mother became dangerously close to losing control of the vehicle and crashing, putting not only Father's life at risk, but also her own and the life of the party's unborn baby. That night, Father feared that Mother was going to hurt all three of them by driving recklessly. 24. In October of 2024, while Mother was pregnant with the child, the parties went on a several-week vacation with Father's family to Croatia, where they stayed in several towns and cities. During their stay in Split, Croatia, the parties and Father's family all stayed at the same Airbnb property, which included 3 separate rooms/units that were all attached by an outdoor walkway. The parties shared one of these 3 rooms/units. On or about October 5th, 2024, Mother was repeatedly expressing frustration and anxiety about being there, 3 months pregnant. She felt that because she was pregnant, she was being excluded because she could not drink alcohol or participate in some of the group activities and evening outings. After dinner that evening, the parties and Father's parents walked back from the downtown area to their Airbnb, which was approximately a 5-minute walk. Upon arriving at the Airbnb, they all went to their respective rooms/units, period. At this time, Mother mentioned that she was tired and wanted to go to bed. Father told her that was fine and to get some sleep and that he was going to spend some time with his siblings. Mother told Father that she did not want him to go and voiced concerns that his siblings and Father were going to, quote unquote, talk about her. Father told her that they would never talk about her and that his siblings loved her. Father reiterated that this trip was a rare, generous gift and that they should try to enjoy it together rather than engage in conflict. At this point, Mother became increasingly upset. Her voice began to rise and she started swearing at Father, calling him a quote-unquote asshole, accusing him of quote-unquote abandoning her and claiming that he didn't care about her. She then stated that she wished she had never gotten pregnant. Father responded by reminding her that their unborn child was a blessing and already deeply loved. Mother continued to yell and swear at the Father. At this point, Father's siblings had returned to their room and he could hear them laughing amongst each other. Father told Mother that he was going to check in with his siblings. At this time, Mother became irate and emotionally unstable. Mother stood on her side of the bed, her face red with anger, and dragged her fingers from her forehead down to her neck in what appeared to be a distressed and panicked state. Dragged her fingers from her forehead down to her neck. Okay. Mother then began punching herself in the face with both closed fists. Father was horrified and begged her to stop. She then began hitting herself repeatedly in the stomach. Fearing for the safety of their unborn child, Father immediately moved toward her, grabbed her hands, and begged her to stop. Mother struggled and tried to pull away as Father pleaded with her to think of the baby's well-being. To prevent her from further hurting herself or the baby, Father wrapped her in a bear hug in an effort to calm her down. Father repeatedly assured her that he loved her and that he was concerned for her and the baby. Father was desperately trying to de-escalate the situation, like he was on Mother's Day when she has that recording of him cussing her out, drunk off his fucking ass. After several minutes, Mother eventually calmed down and promised not to hurt herself or the baby again. Father asked her why she had acted that way and expressed how serious and dangerous her actions were. Father continued to try and comfort and console the mother. After some time had passed, Mother finally agreed to lie down and rest. Father remained in bed next to her, deeply disturbed and unable to fully process what had just happened. Just 1 second, I need to get a drink. So let's take a little break for a minute. My eyes hurt. This sounds like. I mean, I hope she plays. I hope she admits the recordings that she has of him um, into as exhibits. But I don't know if she can because Massachusetts is a two-party state, correct? So she recorded him illegally, right? I mean, if he didn't know she was recording, so that may not work for her. I just can't believe that she wrote that in that letter to him. I mean, oh my God. That's crazy. I don't know. I think she's got a huge fight on her hands. Her family's pretty well connected from what I hear. And, yeah. He's such a piece of shit. I just can't with him. Just one second. I always get cotton mouth really bad when I don't go to sleep after I get off work. I don't know why. It's weird. Um, but yeah, this doesn't sound very good. I don't know. I'm nervous for her. I think it'll help if he loses his job. He needs to lose his job. And the fact that he lives at home with his parents and three siblings, adult siblings. That's 7 people in that one little house. The house is not that big. And we're talking 6 adults and a baby. So, I don't know. I don't think that's a good living situation for Caden. So, if he loses his job on top of the fact that he still lives at home with his parents along with 3 siblings, adult siblings, maybe that'll be enough, I hope. Their next hearing is April 23rd at 8:30 a.m. and we will be ready for it. Just sad. So, ready to go on. You know, the skincare that Jess Machado's using, the Bay Harbor Beauty, I ordered some, and it should be coming any day now, so I'm excited. Hopefully it works as well for me as it's been working for Jess. So I'm excited about that, and I will keep you posted as to how it's working out for me. So there's that. So here we go. Okay. On the final day of their trip in Croatia, the parties and father's family all stopped for breakfast before heading to the airport. Mother remained silent and disengaged throughout. Well, okay, he makes it sound like his siblings love her. Didn't he say that? When Ashley was threatening to kill her at his and her Jack and Jill bachelorette party. So I doubt if they loved her. You don't you go from loving her to wanting her dead in that fast. No matter what you think she may have done to your brother. You know what I mean? So I call bullshit on that. Anyway. On the final, okay, so the mother remained silent and disengaged throughout the meal and did not speak to anyone, including Father. After breakfast, when the parties were alone, Father asked Mother why she was being distant and quiet. Mother responded that she hated Father, that he was a horrible person, and for the second time that trip, stated that she did not want to be pregnant. During this conversation, the parties were walking along the water behind Father's sister and brother. Mother suddenly forcefully slapped Father on his back. Father was in shock and pain. Father's sister turned around, having heard the loud slap. Father downplayed the interaction and assured his sister that everything. The parties continued to walk along the water and back toward the pier. Father again tried to calm Mother down and tried to get a better idea of what was upsetting her. At this time, Mother's behavior became increasingly erratic. She began pacing back and forth between the waterfront and the nearby parking lot. She told Father that she did not want to live anymore and threatened to kill herself. Mother told Father that he would have no place to live when they returned to the United States, and that he should start packing his bags. At one point, while walking on the waterfront, just inches from an approximate 8-foot drop, Mother threatened to walk off the edge and drown herself. Mother repeatedly stated that she wanted to kill herself and the baby. Mother was visibly distraught, gasping for air and dry heaving. Father did everything he could to try to calm her down and de-escalate the situation. He begged her to think about their unborn child. After several minutes, Mother eventually returned to the car and waited there until it was time to leave for the airport. Once the parties arrived at the airport and went through security, Mother continued to threaten to kill herself. Fearing for her safety and that of their unborn child, Father told Mother that he was going to get food, but in reality stepped away to call Mother's mother and tell her about Mother's suicide threats and concerning behavior. Father also informed Mother's mother that she had hit herself in the stomach during the trip. Father could hear the panic in Mother's voice. Mother's mother repeatedly told Father, quote unquote, just get her home. When Father returned to the group after speaking with the mother's mother, Father's sister Courtney noticed how visibly distraught Father was. Given that Courtney previously worked as a registered nurse, Father confided in her and told her of his efforts to get Mother professional help. Father also told her that he had witnessed Mother punch herself in the stomach during the trip. When Mother found out that Father spoke with her mother, her anger only escalated. Once they were on the plane, she told Father that she was going to destroy his life and ruin him. She then stated that when she got home, she was going to kill herself and leave a note saying that it was Father's fault. Father expressed his concern to her and reminded her that he loved her and did not want anything to happen to her. In response, Mother Father's leg as hard as she could until he had to pull away. During the flight's home, Mother continued to raise her voice and swear at Father. Father continued to remain calm and tried to calm her down. When the parties returned home, Father tried to have a conversation with Mother about how concerned he was about her mental health and well-being. Again, Mother became erratic and enraged. She began destroying property throughout the home, including but not limited to breaking pictures, breaking glass items, and knocking objects off the kitchen counters. Her behavior became increasingly aggressive. She kicked doors, punched walls, and continued to yell. While Mother continued to trash their home, Father stood by the side of the couch in a state of shock, unable to fully process what he was watching. What a fucking pussy. Mother then approached Father and tried to punch and slap him several times. Father backed away, raised his hands, trying to avoid getting hurt, and repeatedly told her to stop. She struck Father in the face several times and kicked him in the genitals. Does he have any genitals? Father fell back onto the couch in pain. At no point did Father retaliate / respond with any physical aggression or raise his voice. Physical aggression, he probably hits like a girl. Look, I mean, he probably couldn't be physically aggressive towards her if he wanted to. She can probably kick his ass, I'm sure. After slapping / punching and kicking Father, Mother continued to scream and yell and went back to the kitchen. Once Father was able to get off the couch, he walked into the kitchen and begged her to calm down. At this point, Father noticed that she had retrieved a large kitchen knife, which was approximately 8 inches in length. Mother began pacing around their home, holding the knife to her stomach. Mother was approximately 3 to 4 months pregnant at this time. She repeatedly threatened to harm herself and their unborn child. Again, Father tried to calm her down and make her feel safe. Father begged her to stop. When Father took his phone out and said that he needed to call 911 so that he could get her help, she threatened to immediately kill herself if he did so. At one point, she held the knife directly to the side of her head. Okay, well, um, if she held it to her throat, I could see him being really scared. But the head? Father did everything that he could to try to de escalate the situation. He likes that word, de escalate. Father her to think about their unborn child, told her he loved her, promised her she was safe, and told her that she was not alone. This situation lasted for what felt like an eternity. Mother's eyes were wide, and she stared at Father while holding the knife. Father was terrified that she was going to follow through on her threats. She would not drop the knife. Eventually, after persistent pleading, the father was able to convince Mother to drop the knife. Father walked over to her, held her, and reassured her that she was safe and that everything was going to be okay. Father held her for a long time, still shaken by what had just occurred and fearful for what might happen next. In the days that followed, Mother begged Father not to leave her. Father was still incredibly scared by what he had witnessed a few days prior and was concerned about not only his safety, but the safety of Mother and their unborn child. Father genuinely believed that if he left her, she was going to follow through on her prior threats to harm herself and the baby. Mother told Father repeatedly that he could not tell anyone about what happened because she was scared that she was going to lose her job. She also told him that she would have nothing left if she lost her job as a police officer, which was extremely concerning. Shortly after returning from Croatia on October 15th, the mother sent the following text messages to Father. I have no plans of continuing this miserable fucking life. I'm sitting at this fucking desk ready to bash it and just fucking die. Father begged Mother to go to the crisis center in Lawrence, Massachusetts to seek mental health treatment. Father personally accompanied her to several appointments there. Father made sure that Mother scheduled and attended every OBGYN appointment during this time as well. Father took every step that he could to get her into therapy and psychiatric treatment and to ensure her safety and the safety of their unborn child. Father encouraged her to attend an inpatient mental health facility that lasted approximately 1 to 2 weeks, but she consistently refused and told Father that he was the problem and that there was nothing wrong with her. Eventually, Mother did attend one online group therapy session. However, she then withdrew from therapy and refused to attend any additional therapy sessions despite Father's repeated requests. Did he speak to her OBGYN about it? Because maybe if he did and the doctor suggested it, maybe she would have done it. C. November 2024. Similarly, in or around November, Father attended an OBGYN appointment with Mother in Boston, Massachusetts. Mother was driving her Range Rover and they were traveling south on Route 93. During the drive, the parties began discussing her mental state, and Father encouraged her to be honest with her doctors about the suicidal and homicidal thoughts that she had previously expressed to him. Mother immediately became defensive and began swearing Father. Mother told Father that if she told the truth, she would lose her job. She then started blaming Father for her difficulties during her pregnancy and that she, quote unquote, couldn't handle it. Well, if he was walking around drunk and high all the time, I can understand why. She probably felt like she had no support, no help. As Mother's agitation escalated, so did her driving. She began speeding and became visibly angry behind the wheel. When Father asked her to pull over and let him drive, she refused. Instead, she started swerving aggressively between cars when they were approaching the Zachem Bridge in Boston, Massachusetts. Mother accelerated to approximately 110 miles per hour. Isn't that what he said last time, too? That seems to be a popular speed. Just before the exit. At this point, Father was terrified. Mother continued to ignore his repeated pleas to slow down and pull over. Father genuinely thought they were going to get into an accident. Father continued to beg Mother to slow down and told her that he loved her, that he wasn't going anywhere, that he was just trying to support her, and that he wanted what was best for her. After several minutes, she finally reduced her speed and regained some control of the vehicle. Once mother was driving at a normal and legal speed, father gently asked her what was going on and told her that she could have killed all of them. She responded several times that she did not want to be pregnant and that she couldn't handle it anymore. Just, just 1 second. D. December 2024. Another example of the father witnesses mother's concerning behavior during her pregnancy occurred in December 2024. On or about December 14th or 15th, father was in Mexico attending his best friend's wedding. At that time, mother was approximately 6 months pregnant. The parties had mutually agreed that it would be better for mother and the baby if mother did not fly to Mexico for the short trip. I bet they did. While father was in Mexico, mother informed him that she was experiencing abdominal pain. Father urged her to go to the hospital immediately to ensure that both she and the baby were safe. She eventually agreed, and her mother took her to the hospital. Father made it clear that if there were any complications, he would take the next available flight home. Throughout the day, approximately every 20 minutes, father stepped away from the ceremony and wedding events to call and text mother for updates on her and the baby. As the day progressed, mother became increasingly anxious, agitated, and angry. After the hospital evaluated her and found no complications, father remained on the phone with mother during her 40-minute drive home from Boston, Massachusetts, to North Andover, Massachusetts. During this phone call, mother yelled at father, belittled him, and became emotional. After enduring verbal abuse for over 40 minutes, father told mother that he was happy that both she and the baby were okay, but that he needed to end the phone call and that he would talk to her the next day. When the party spoke the following day, mother again sent father deeply disturbing messages, all of which made him fear not only for her safety, but also for the safety of their unborn son. These messages included the following: quote unquote, Justin, please answer the phone. I mentally cannot take this. I'm going to a really bad place. I'm going to a really fucking bad place. I'm worthless and I will prove that to you. I am all done. I hate this life. I can't do it. I couldn't handle the stress that caused to me. I could not handle it. I hurt myself. Just keep in mind the baby feels what I feel. I was up all fucking night. Did he forward these to her mom by chance? So that there's proof, I wonder? When if he was so concerned? When the mother picked father up at the airport, father asked her and how she hurt herself. Mother told father that she punched herself. Given that father had previously witnessed mother punch herself in the face and punch herself in the stomach while pregnant, father believed mother was telling the truth. Father later found out that mother admitted to her friend and maid of honor, Katrina Caruso, that she had punched herself while in Croatia while mother was pregnant. Number 3, mother's violent and dangerous behavior exhibited after the child's birth that caused the father serious concerns relative to the well-being of the parties and the child. A. March 2025. On or about March 9th, 2025, after a baptism party at my cousin's house, the parties and the child returned home to 125 Phillipsbrook Road. The child was less than 1 month old at this time. Upon arriving home, father noticed that mother appeared unsettled, anxious, and increasingly agitated. Her behavior soon began to escalate, and she appeared visibly angry and distressed. At this time, father was sitting on the couch feeding the child before putting him to bed. Mother was pacing between the living room and the kitchen. Father had no idea why mother was so upset and was confused by her increasingly aggressive behavior. Without warning, mother entered the living room and became physically violent. She began breaking picture frames, throwing objects from the counters, and smashing anything within her reach. Recognizing that the situation was rapidly deteriorating and unsafe for their son, father decided that it was in the child's best interests to remove him from this situation. As mother continued yelling and breaking items, father grabbed the baby's diaper bag and carried the baby upstairs to pack an overnight bag. While doing so, father heard mother coming upstairs. Father was in the bedroom across the bed when she approached father. Father told mother that he needed to remove the baby from this dangerous environment. Given mother's escalating and concerning behavior, father also retrieved his personal and legally owed firearm, which was secured in a locked storage box next to the bed. as mother her to the safe, and father was concerned for all of their safety. Father placed the firearm in his pants pocket to ensure that mother could not access it. Father calmly told mother that she was safe and that everything was going to be okay. At this point, father planned on taking the child to a mutual friend's home, who was also a North Andover firefighter and who lived with his wife and his 4 children nearby. While holding the child in one arm, father extended his other arm to maintain distance between mother and himself. However, mother stood in the bedroom doorway and refused to let them leave. Father explained to her that he wanted to give her some space to calm down and remove the baby from the Father explained to mother that it was in the baby's best interests to spend the night in a safe and stable environment and that father would return shortly thereafter. Mother refused to let father leave and demanded to hold Caden. Father assured mother that the baby was safe with him, but she remained insistent and was becoming increasingly agitated. Father recommended that he call her mother and stepfather, who were also at the baptism party and who lived nearby. Father made the call, and shortly thereafter, mother's mother and stepfather arrived and came upstairs to assist with the situation. Upon their arrival, father was still holding the baby, and as mother moved toward father, father became trapped between the bed and the wall. Mother attempted to grab the baby and would not let go. At this time, mother's stepfather intervened and physically restrained mother and urged her to let go of the baby. From where father was standing, father could not tell if mother had a hold of the baby's leg or his pajama pants, but father was unable to pull away. At this time, father's fear for the baby's safety reached an all-time high. Both mother's mother and stepfather were yelling at mother to stop and to let go of our baby. Mother's stepfather repeatedly yelled, quote unquote, Kelsey, let go. Eventually, mother's stepfather was able to fully restrain mother, and father was able to get downstairs safely with the baby. Shortly thereafter, everyone came downstairs. Mother continued her episode in the kitchen. It escalated to the point that mother's mother was wrestling with mother on the floor, trying to restrain her. At this point, father had handed the child to mother's stepfather. He could help mother's mother. Father did his best to assist and de-escalate the situation as he was scared that mother was going to harm herself or one of them. Mother's stepfather eventually called 911 and requested both police and an ambulance. When the police officers and EMTs arrived, her mother, and father were on the kitchen floor. So Kelsey's mom, and Justin were on the kitchen floor. Father advised the police officers to remove the kitchen knives from the area, as mother had thrown them and they were on the floor within her reach. Father voluntarily surrendered his firearm to the police officer and informed him of his intention to remove both the weapon and the baby from the house for their safety. Even after the police officers and EMT arrived, mother remained erratic and uncooperative. Emergency personnel informed her that she could either voluntarily go to the hospital for an eval or be involuntarily transported to the hospital pursuant to MGL 123 and 12 involuntary psychiatric hold. After a prolonged argument, mother agreed to go to the hospital. The town of North Andover's community support coordinator, Crystal Clooney, also arrived on scene and accompanied the parties to Lawrence General Hospital. Now, where was she during the service of the temporary restraining order on the day that she was shot? Why didn't they bring somebody then? Also, okay, the baby remained with mother's mother and stepfather at this time. Upon the party's arrival at the hospital, mother continued to scream and act out in the hospital room. Hospital security became involved. The nurse, Miss Clooney, and father attempted to calm mother down while hospital security stood by. Mother threatened to break out of the hospital if she was not released. The nurse warned her that she would be sedated and physically restrained if her behavior continued. At this time, Miss Clooney and father stepped out of the hospital room and spoke with the attending physician to provide information relative to mother's mental and emotional state. They both expressed that due to mother's erratic and violent behavior, mother should not be discharged and that she was not in any position to care for a baby at that time. The physician agreed and decided to hold mother involuntarily pursuant to MGL 123 and 12. Mother was required to remain at the hospital for psychiatric evaluation. After some time had passed, Miss Clooney was finally able to calm mother down. Father stayed with mother at Lawrence General Hospital overnight until approximately 9 a.m. the next morning. After meeting with a mental health clinician, the mother was discharged. As a result of this situation, the mother was placed on administrative leave from her job as a North Andover police officer. B. May 2025. Shortly thereafter, another situation occurred that caused father to have serious concerns relative to the mother's ability to care for their child. On or about May 10th, 2025, the parties and the child had dinner at father's parents' house in Stowe, Massachusetts, with his family. It was a peaceful and enjoyable day. After dinner, the parties made plans to meet father's childhood friend David and his girlfriend at a brewery in Marlborough, Massachusetts, so that they could introduce them to the child for the first time. The parties arrived at the brewery at approximately 6:30 p.m. and met David and his girlfriend outside. As the parties were waiting for a table, David and father were reminiscing about the last time they were at the brewery. At that brewery, it was approximately 5 years prior. While recalling who was present at the time, David innocently mentioned the name of father's ex-girlfriend. Immediately after hearing father's ex-girlfriend's name, mother glared at father and sent him a text demanding that they leave right away. Given that mother had always openly talked about her past relationships and that mother knew David well enough to know that he did not mean any harm by mentioning father's ex-girlfriend's name, father was confused by mother's reaction. Nevertheless, they stayed and enjoyed the evening. However, as soon as the parties and the child got into father's truck to leave the brewery, mother appeared visibly furious. During the entire 45-minute drive home, she continued to scream and swear at father at the top of her lungs. She yelled, quote unquote, "Fuck you, you fucking asshole," over and over again. Father begged her to lower her voice as the baby had started crying and was upset. Despite this, she continued to scream and swear uncontrollably and was flailing her arms and appearing to be emotionally unstable. Mother's behavior during the drive was erratic and frightening given that the three of them were confined to such a small space. Surprised she wasn't driving at 110 miles an hour again. C. May 2025. Another example of mother's erratic and concerning behavior occurred shortly thereafter, in or around May of 2025, when father returned home after his 24-hour shift at approximately 8 a.m. Mother told father that when the baby woke up that morning, she had picked him up and placed him in their bed next to her. Then mother fell asleep. Mother told father that while she was sleeping, the baby rolled over off the bed and onto the floor, which was approximately a 2 to 3 foot drop. Mother was awoken by his loud screams of pain. At this time, both parties knew that Caden was able to roll over, as they had witnessed him do so several times before. Thankfully, the baby was okay, but mother's negligence put father in fear for their son's safety. Mother admits in her answer to interrogatory number 24 that this occurred. D. June 6, 2025. Further, on or about June 6, 2025, father attended the funeral of a fellow North Andover firefighter who had passed away suddenly on May 29th. Nearly the entire North Andover Fire Department was present to honor him. After such a service, it is customary to hold a quote unquote mercy meal where family, friends, and colleagues gather to offer support to the deceased's families. This specific gathering took place at Relief's Inn in Lawrence, Massachusetts. Before mercy meal, father stopped briefly at the party's home in North Andover to check on mother and the baby. Father informed mother that he was going to attend the mercy meal for approximately 1 to 1.5 hours and that he would keep her updated as to his timing. Father ended up arriving home approximately 30 minutes later than anticipated, as he and his colleagues were sharing stories about the fallen firefighter. When father entered the house, mother was irate. Mother began screaming and swearing at father and expressed annoyance that she had to watch the baby during the day. Father explained to mother that this was not a social outing, but a memorial for a colleague and fellow firefighter. She began yelling and screaming and blaming father for her Section 12 holding in March, and stated that she should be placed on administrative leave. She accosted father for telling the doctor that she was not able to care for herself or the baby that night. During this outburst, the baby, who was approximately 3 months old at the time, was present in the living room. Mother picked up one of the plates of food that had been delivered and smashed it on the coffee table. The food and debris covered the couch, floor, walls, and ceiling. The baby witnessed the entire episode. Mother then grabbed the baby despite father's repeated pleas for her to stop. She grabbed her car keys, headed for the door, and ignored father's attempts to calm her down and prevent her from leaving with the baby. Father told mother multiple times that she was not in a safe mental state to be driving with their son. Mother on. Moments later, father heard her tires screech as she drove away with the baby, leaving father in complete fear for both the baby's safety and mother's safety. June 28, 2025 through June 30th. Father's concerns relative to mother's state of mind reached an all-time high on the weekend of June 28th. After the parties got engaged, they decided to host a joint bachelor/bachelorette trip during the weekend of June 28th through June 30th before their wedding, which was scheduled for October 4th, 2025. The parties invited their entire wedding party, which consisted of their siblings and friends. They rented a in Bethel, Maine for the weekend. On the night of June 28, 2025, everyone was hanging out using the jacuzzi and playing long games outside. Most of the group was casually drinking. Early that night, mother took several shots of 100 proof whiskey straight from the bottle and drank several other alcoholic seltzers and beers within a short span of time. Father asked her to please slow down and drink some water and eat some food. Mother ignored his request and continued drinking heavily. Throughout the night, mother became more and more intoxicated. She began exhibiting erratic behavior and repeating the same words over and over again. She was running around yelling fuckity fuck and crusty crab. Father again offered mother some food and water, which she refused. At 9 p.m., or at around 9:30 p.m., father went outside to sit on the deck with some of his other guests. At this time, mother's friend and bridesmaid Katrina came outside and stated that she, quote unquote, couldn't deal with mother and that mother was out of control. Mother then came outside and asked father to play a drinking game with her. Father declined and mother immediately became upset and angry. She continued to drink several seltzers, beer, and liquor and soon became slurring her words. At around 11 p.m., father went upstairs to the master suite to brush his teeth and use the bathroom. Mother followed him upstairs to the room and suddenly started yelling at father, calling him names and swearing at him. Mother then tried to initiate intimacy. Mother was overly intoxicated at this time, and father decided it was best to remove himself from the situation. After using the bathroom, father went downstairs to sit with his brother and friend. Mother followed him downstairs, her face red with anger. There's that sentence again. And whispered in his ear that he was a fucking asshole and asked him to go upstairs to. She then tried to pull father upstairs to the master suite. Given her history and the fact that their friends and family were present, father was scared what her reaction would be if he did not comply. As he got up to follow mother, he whispered in his brother's ear that he might need his help. Once the parties were upstairs, mother began speaking in words that father could not understand. She was clearly angry at father about something as she continued to raise her voice and was flailing her body while doing so. Father told her that he did not feel comfortable and that they should talk tomorrow and that she should get some rest and drink some water. Father assured her that everything was okay and that they were going to have a fun weekend with their friends. At this time, father's brother knocked on the bedroom door and asked father to come downstairs. Mother stepped in front of the father, preventing him from leaving. About 3 to 4 minutes later, father's brother came to the door again, asking him to come downstairs. Father attempted to move towards the door to leave the room, and mother stepped in front of him and would not allow him to leave. Father told his brother that he would be down in a minute. Mother then became visibly upset, asking why he would leave her and why he wanted to go downstairs. Father told her that he was uncomfortable being alone with her at that time and that she appeared very aggressive. About 1 minute later, father's brother knocked on the door a third time. Father told mother that he was removing himself from the situation and that at this point, mother accused father of closing his fingers in the door. Father responded that he did not closed her fingers in the door. Father responded that he did not close her fingers in the door and asked her why she would make that up. At this point, father witnessed mother clenching her right hand into a closed fist. Father attempted to move towards the door as father feared the mother was about to assault him, as she had done before. Mother then struck father in the face with her closed fist. Father tried to move away as he did not believe she was going to stop hitting him. She hit him so hard that the next morning Father woke up with a swollen nose and a red face, but no black eye, no bruising. Father was able to make it to the door and open it. However, Mother grabbed his arm and pulled him back inside the room as hard as she could. Father's brother and sister, Courtney, witnessed Mother grab Father and pull him back into the room. At this point, Mother completely changed her persona and calmly asked Father's brother, "What are you talking about? We were just talking in bed." Stunned at what just occurred, Father moved out of the room and froze in the doorway as some of their friends and family started to come upstairs. Father's sister, Courtney, helped Father get downstairs and exit the house. Father's friend David met them outside, and they decided that David would drive him and Father to a nearby motel for the night, as Father did not want to re-enter the house or be around Mother. Father and David arrived at the Town and Country Inn and Resort in Shelburne, New Hampshire at approximately 12:30 a.m. that night. Father was going to try and find them and assault him again. Mother attempted to call and text Father several times that night, so Father eventually shut his phone off. The next day, Father was informed that after he and David left the house, Mother had physically and verbally assaulted several of her bridesmaids. Mother threw a full-size metal Stanley Cup and a box of glass from the top of the stairs at her friend and bridesmaid, Deandra, barely missing her head and denting the cup. Mother also yelled at Deandra, quote, "I will kill you. I will fucking kill you." See Exhibit C. Mother also bridesmaid Katrina's hair. According to Michelle Mitchell's deposition testimony, Mother proceeded to yell at Michelle and kick her in the left knee. Mother then ran into the woods that night, drunk and screaming, "I need my son." Michelle and two other bridesmaids got into a vehicle and began searching for her. Mother was not answering her cell phone. According to Michelle's deposition testimony, when the mother finally answered her phone, Mother had quote-unquote shallow breathing and sounded distressed. Mother informed her that she was standing in a river. Shortly thereafter, the phone call disconnected. Out of concern for Mother's safety and well-being, Michelle called 911 and informed the operator that there was an intoxicated person in the woods experiencing a mental health episode. While Michelle was on the phone with the operator, the mother pulled up next to Michelle's vehicle in her younger brother's car. At this time, Mother's stepsister, who was in the car with Michelle, got out of the car, entered Mother's younger brother's car, and drove away. As such, when the police arrived at the Airbnb, Mother was already gone. According to Michelle's deposition testimony, the mother was exhibiting quote-unquote erratic behavior that night by running off into the woods intoxicated and acting unfazed after assaulting Father. Michelle testified that Mother's reaction after that was just not normal. Mother called her mother and stepfather and instructed them to drive from their home to Methuen, Massachusetts to pick the child up at Father's parents' house in Stowe, Massachusetts, nearly a 45-minute commute. Mother's mother called Father's parents and told them that she was coming to pick up the child. Mother's mother and stepfather arrived at Father's parents' house at roughly 3 a.m. and demanded to take the baby with them. Father's parents tried to discuss with them what was going on, but Mother's mother and stepfather were adamant that Mother was not to blame and refused to acknowledge the violent and concerning behavior that Mother had exhibited that night. Mother's mother and stepfather woke the baby up in the middle of the night and brought him to Mother despite Mother's episode merely hours earlier. Throughout the day, Father was communicating with Mother via telephone calls and text messages. Father expressed that he was scared to be alone around her after she physically assaulted him the night before, and that he was concerned about her mental health and her ability to care for their son at the time. Mother responded to Father with extremely concerning messages, including the following: that she was going far, far away for a long, long time. "I promise you I'm not going to be okay. Caden and I are not okay. We need you. We are both not okay. I can't do this. I'm so scared and worried about me. You won't have me and you won't have him." Mother demanded that Father come to her house and told him that she could not and would not take care of the baby by herself. Throughout the day, Mother tried to manipulate Father into coming over. Father requested several times that she allow him to take the baby, but she refused. That day, out of concern for Mother and the baby's safety, Michelle called the North Andover Police Department and requested a well-being check on Mother and the baby. Throughout the rest of the day, Mother continued to call Father and swear and yell at him on the phone while in the presence of the baby. Given Mother's mental state and history of suicidal ideations and violence, Father decided to go to her house to check on the baby and retrieve his firearms from the house. Father first had to drive to his brother's apartment in Nashua, New Hampshire, to retrieve his keys and belongings as he had left them at the house in Bethel, Maine, the night before when the trip was cut short due to Mother's actions. My eyes are getting heavy. Father's father accompanied him to Nashua. During the drive, Father called Mother's stepfather and asked if he could meet them at Phillips Brooks Road so that Father could retrieve his firearms. Father told him that given Mother's recent violent outburst and concerning behavior, he was terrified that his firearms were in the house with her and that she was alone with the baby. Mother's stepfather told Father that he would call him back, but he never did. Mother's stepfather never reached back out. I wonder why. Before entering Phillipsburg Road, Father again told Mother that he did not feel safe entering the residence alone and that he was going to bring his father with him. Father told Mother that he was coming to retrieve personal belongings and clothes. When Father and his father arrived at Mother's residence, Mother would not allow Father's father to come in. Father told her to either call her mother to help facilitate the exchange or that Father would be calling the police. She eventually called her mother to come over to facilitate the exchange. As soon as Father entered Mother's residence, Father immediately went to retrieve his firearms. Period. The next day, Father again asked Mother to allow him to take the baby. At around 12:30 p.m., Father called Michelle to inquire as to what Lieutenant Whitaker had said to her the day prior. Michelle informed Father that Lieutenant Whitaker had just messaged her to follow up on the situation. She planned on calling him back to inform him of the events that took place on June 28th in Maine. That same day, Father met Katrina Caruso, Mother's friend, Hunter Hassam, Father's friend, Courtney Alain, Father's sister, and Michelle Mitchell at Hunter's apartment in North Andover, as they were all concerned for the mother and the baby's safety. Prior to meeting, Father called the town of North Andover's community support coordinator, Crystal Clooney, who was present the night that Mother was involuntarily committed to the hospital, and described to her the events of the past weekend. Crystal told get in contact with Lieutenant Domingo, Mother's direct supervisor. Crystal recommended that Father obtain a restraining order. Father spoke with Lieutenant Whitaker that day and explained to him that he believed that Mother was a danger to herself and to the baby. Later that day, Mother drove by Hunter's apartment and saw Father's truck and their friends' vehicles parked outside. She began driving by the apartment and messaging Father frantically. It was at this point that Father decided to drive to Essex Probate and Family Court in Lawrence, Massachusetts with his sister to seek and obtain a 209A abuse preventive order against the mother, which he was granted that day and which granted him custody of the child. Once Father obtained the 209 abuse prevention order, Father drove to the North Andover Police Department and explained the situation. Father spoke with and Lieutenant Whitaker and relayed to them at least 10 times that Father believed Mother was a danger to herself, the baby, and any officers that served the restraining order on her. Officers then left to serve Mother with the restraining order at a residence. About 20 minutes after the officers left to serve Mother with the restraining order, Officer Daly called Father and instructed him to come to Mother's residence to take custody of their son. When Father arrived at Phillips Brooks Road with his sister, there were 2 officers upstairs with Mother and 1 officer on the first floor with Mother's mother, who was holding the baby. Father took the baby from Mother's mother and started to put him in his car seat. However, he started crying, so Father's sister and Father decided to carry him outside and put him in the car seat outside. Father's sister held the baby and stood with him next to Father's truck while he went inside to quickly pack some of his belongings. Father headed to the basement to find a piece of luggage. When Father began to walk towards the stairs to head up to the first floor, Father heard an officer scream, "No, stop, don't do it." Father then heard what he believed to be gunshots and mother's mother screaming. Father immediately turned around and ran out of the garage. Father screamed to his sister to run. As soon as Father rounded the house, Father saw his sister running down the street with the baby in her arms. Yeah, like I said, most firemen and paramedics are running into the building as people are running out, and he was the first one out of the house. And like, if he truly ever loved Kelsey, he wouldn't have been able to leave without knowing whether or not she was okay. What a piece of shit. Father ran to his truck and witnessed Officer Houston grab his medical bag from his patrol car. Once Father got into his truck, Father started to drive in the direction that he saw his sister running. Father's sister came running towards his truck from behind a neighbor's house, and they immediately drove to Father's parents' house in Stowe. Father has never been more scared than he was that day. Once they safely arrived at Father's parents' house in Stowe, a lieutenant from the Stowe Police Department came over to discuss what had just occurred. She told them that the Stowe Police Department would remain in contact and would increase in the area, as Father and his family were terrified that Mother's family would retaliate against them given their tendency to enable Mother's behavior. Enable her behavior, her stepfather restrained her so that you could leave with the baby, and then her mother was wrestling around with her on the fucking floor. How is that allowing her or enabling her behavior? It is worth noting that when Michelle Mitchell visited the mother in the hospital shortly after the shooting, the mother stated to Michelle, "How dumb am I? I tried to shoot myself with an unloaded gun. I want to die. I need my son." Mother also told Michelle that she was the best fucking friend I've ever had, even though she was doing shit behind her back, colluding behind her back. The morning of June 30th, prior to Father obtaining the 209 order, on the morning of June 30th, Mother informed Father via text message that she made the unilateral decision to cancel the child's hernia surgery that was scheduled for July 2nd. Mother was well aware that this was a necessary procedure, and her unilateral decision to cancel it put the child's health and well-being at risk. The surgery was intended to repair a confirmed inguinal hernia on the baby's right side, and the surgical team also planned on evaluating a possible hernia on his left side as an umbilical hernia during the operation. On June 29th, the day before Father sought and obtained the 209A order, Father went to the house to retrieve some belongings while Mother's mother was present. During that visit, Father asked to take the baby so that he could ensure that he made it to his scheduled surgery, but Mother refused. She stated that she did not want to drive to Boston alone for the surgery and asked if Father would drive with her. Father explained that he was not comfortable being alone with her after she had physically assaulted him just a day earlier in Bethel, Maine. Mother told Father that she, quote unquote, could not handle driving alone to the surgery or fasting the baby for surgery. Father emphasized that this was not about her comfort, it was about the child's health and medical needs. Father assured her that if she allowed him to take the baby, he would ensure that the baby properly fasted, that the father would transport the baby to the hospital, complete all necessary preoperative steps, and care for the baby both before and after the procedure. What a guy. Father also offered to meet Mother directly at the hospital if she would not agree to allow him to take the baby himself. Mother, he keeps going back to first and third person. It says Mother directly at the hospital if she would not allow me to take the baby himself instead of myself. Mother refused every reasonable option, and Mother's mother insisted that it wasn't fair for Mother to drive alone if she wanted Father to drive with her. Father explained that fairness to Mother should not take precedence over their son's health, especially given Mother's actions and behaviors over the last 48 hours. It should be noted that Mother was very familiar with driving in to and from Boston. Previously lived there and attended school there. Mother has driven herself to and from Boston by herself countless times. Nevertheless, Mother told Father that if he did not agree to drive with her, she was going to cancel the surgery, despite the known risks associated with canceling the surgery, including but not limited to hernia strangulation. Father reminded Mother how important the surgery was and that by canceling the surgery, she would be risking the baby's health. It should also be noted that in the months leading up to the scheduled surgery, the child had experienced episodes of intense pain and crying when the hernia bulged. which occurred as often as every day or every other day. If left untreated, this condition could quickly escalate into a surgical emergency with serious consequences. Nevertheless, Mother informed father that she canceled the surgery. By doing so, Mother was intentionally harming the baby and failing to prioritize his well being. 4. Mother's fits of rage, both during her pregnancy and after giving birth. Both during Mother's pregnancy and after the baby was born, there have been several other occasions where Mother has expressed fits of rage that put Father in fear of his own safety, Mother's safety, and baby's safety. In or around September 2024, while Mom was still pregnant with the child, after Mother's dog had an accident inside the house, she kicked in the pantry door and broke it. Father and his friend had to replace the door. On or around October of 2024, while Mother was pregnant with the child, in a fit of rage, Mother suddenly and randomly kicked and broke the basement door, which had to be replaced. On or around December 2024, while Mother was pregnant with the child, during another violent outburst, Mother threw objects around the house, eventually shattering a window in the sunroom. Father was at work at the time and upon his return noticed the shattered window and asked Mother what had happened. Mother told him that she was angry and that she threw an object out of anger. Father cleaned up the glass outside of the house. On or around April of 2025, while the mother was home alone with the child, who was approximately 2 months old, Mother broke a glass panel in the nursery door during another violent outburst. Father was at work at the time and upon his return noticed the broken panel and asked her what happened. She explained that she had become angry and forcefully threw an object at the door, which broke it. The thought of Mother becoming this violent and angry when she was alone with the baby terrified the father. Number 5. Mother's alcohol abuse prior to and after her pregnancy. On or about November 10, 2023, only a few months after the parties began dating, Father wanted to introduce Mother to his friends, so Father invited her to one of his closest childhood friends' house in Boston, Massachusetts, where he lived with his fiancée as they were hosting a monthly game night. Husband's sister, Courtney, also attended the game night. Why is she always with him? Why is she always around? He invites her everywhere. That's kind of weird. Throughout the evening, Mother became extremely intoxicated, so much so that she was rolling on the floor, unable to walk steadily, and unable to speak coherently. The situation became uncomfortable for everyone, so Father ended the night early and drove her home. During the drive, despite Father's repeated requests for her to buckle her seatbelt, Mother refused to listen. At one point, Mother threw her upper body on top of the father while he was driving. This startled the father and nearly caused an accident. Mother ignored Father's attempts to regain control of the situation and repeatedly turned the radio volume up very loud after he continued to lower it so that he could focus on driving. Mother's response was punching the vehicle's radio with her fist. During the drive home, Father had to pull over on the exit ramps of I-93 and I-495 so that Mother could vomit. When the parties arrived at Mother's house in North Andover, Massachusetts, she was unable to walk on her own and could not speak coherently. Father carried her inside and put her in bed. Mother repeatedly crawled out of bed and toward the top of the staircase, despite Father telling her to stop as he was to fall down the stairs. Fearing she was going to fall down the stairs in the middle of the night, Father sat at the top of the stairs the entire night to ensure that she did not injure herself. Father did not sleep that night. Well, he's a firefighter. He's used to that, right? Big deal. You're fucking 28, 30 years old. Get over it. Father was completely taken aback by Mother's violent behavior that she exhibited in the car that night and the danger she continued to put herself in by crawling towards the top of the staircase, completely intoxicated. Father was in fear of Mother that night and felt that she was going to hurt herself. On another instance, and according to Michelle Mitchell's deposition testimony, Mother Michelle went to a rooftop bar in Boston in or around 2023. According to Michelle, Mother had one drink and immediately became severely intoxicated, not as if she only had one drink. Mother ended up throwing up, and Michelle drove her back to her house and stayed with her until the next morning to make sure that she was all right. Mother also engaged in heavy drinking after the child was born. Shortly after the child was born on February 16th and through June of 2025, Mother was drinking alcohol to the point of intoxication almost daily and was drinking and driving. Oftentimes, she would leave the home drunk to go pick up more alcohol. After father voiced his concerns to mother about her drinking and driving, mother began ordering alcohol via alcohol delivery services late at night. The alcohol was being delivered directly to their front door, often late at night and after mother was already intoxicated. Father again expressed his concerns to mother about her drinking. Father told her that he uh, Father told her that her drinking was creating an unsafe environment for their son. Despite his concerns, mother continued to engage in this pattern from February 2025 through June 2025. During this time, father was in a constant state of fear as mother was heavily drinking with their son in the home and continued to appear to be in an unstable emotional mental state. She was breastfeeding. I don't buy it. I don't buy it for a minute. On or about June 25th, 2025, just days before the party's joint bachelorette party in Bethel, Maine, and at approximately 11 p.m., father found mother completely unconscious and naked, lying on the floor between the couch and the coffee table in the living room. It was clear that mother was heavily intoxicated. Father carefully lifted mother onto the couch, dressed her, and covered her with a blanket. Shortly thereafter, father heard the baby crying upstairs, so he went to check on him. After the baby fell back asleep, father returned to the living room. Mother was once again naked and passed out on the floor in the same area. Father tried to wake her up and offered to help her back onto the couch, but she remained unresponsive and did not speak or move despite his efforts. So did he call an ambulance? No. She could have had alcohol poisoning. What the fuck? At this time, father heard the baby begin to stir and cry again, so he returned to his room. Given mother's state and father's growing concern for their son's well-being, father chose to stay upstairs with the baby for the remainder of the night to ensure that he was safe. Given mother's recent threats of suicide and heavy use of alcohol at this time, father was greatly concerned for all of their safety. C. Conclusion. For all it is the father's position that the father shall continue to have legal and physical custody of the child. That said, the father acknowledges that it is important for the child to be reunited with mother, but believes this should be done in a controlled and professionally supervised environment. As such, it is the father's position that mother have weekly supervised visits with the child at the Center for Achieving Balance for Children and Families 1 time per week for up to 5 hours, and that this matter be scheduled for a review hearing in approximately 60 days. It is father's further position that given the heightened media attention that this matter currently has, it is in the best interest of the child that neither party nor any third party post pictures and or videos of the child on the internet. The child should not be subject to such media attention. Further, since the verdict was entered in mother's criminal trial, the mother has been increasingly active on the internet, including but not limited to engaging in online interviews and podcasts. According to justiceforkelsey.com, there is currently a Give Send Go platform that indicates a balance of approximately $172,000. It is also father's position that the mother submit to appropriate mental health treatment if she is not already, and that the father, through counsel, be provided with information relative to mother's mental health treatment and well. Finally, given the mother's history of substance abuse, it is the father's position that the mother should submit to a 14-panel hair follicle test. Within the last month, father has submitted to 2 hair follicle tests and has tested negative for all substances on both. Father will produce copies of his test results from the court's or mother's counsel's request. Upon the court's or mother's counsel's request. The motion is further supported by such arguments that may be advanced by counsel at the time of hearing. Wherefore, father respectfully requests that this court allow the within motion and that the attached proposed further temporary order be entered as the further temporary orders of this court, along with such further orders as this court deems meet and so there's that. I don't know, it doesn't sound good. I wonder how true those stories are. I mean, did he forward all her self-harm threatening threats that she texted to him? Did he forward those to her mom to let her know what was going on? didn't say he did. I mean, I don't know. I'm scared for her. But we have to stay positive. We have to believe in our system, as hard as it is to right now. And we have to trust that um, her truths will come out during these hearings, and that um, the delay in um, reuniting Caden and Kelsey there will be a stop put to the delays, because precious time is ticking by and you can't make this time up. She's missing um, too many milestones in this baby's life. And I know she's worried about him not recognizing her, but he'll smell her, and he'll he'll recognize her smell, I think, if nothing else, and her voice. Babies remember weird things, and they have a bond that nobody can ever break. But I understand her concerns, and they're legitimate. I mean, I think he's walking already. I don't know. And they're not teaching him the word mommy. They're not teaching him that. No way. If anything, they're teaching him to call her Kelsey. I mean, I don't know. I have butterflies in my stomach now after reading that. I just, I don't know. But there's definitely a strange relationship between Justin, and his sister Courtney. I mean, they do way too many things together. Like, they almost do stuff together like a couple. I mean, does he invite her everywhere? And why? Why does he feel the need to include her in everything? It's kind of creepy, if you ask me. And I just don't get it. That family's fucking weird. They just have there's something off about them. Like the Stepford wives, or I mean, they just have, there's something bizarre about that family. There's something not right, and I can't put my finger on it, but no bueno. And I can't imagine that Caden would benefit from living under the same roof as 6 adults. I don't see how anything good can come from that. And I think the court should make him get his own place for him and Caden before they grant him sole custody or physical and legal custody. If they do, I hope that they put that condition down, because this baby does not need to be living in a house with 6 adults that are off their rockers. I mean, they're just weird. And I mean, you can't tell me that he gets a good night's sleep, and you know damn well that baby's bassinet is in Justin's mom's bedroom. You can't convince me of anything else. So, I don't know. I don't know. Why is oh, never mind. So, I think that's pretty much all I have for now, and I'm glad that I got to finally do another recording. I haven't been able to do one in so long, so um, that makes me happy. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Yeah, so enjoy this wonderful weather. I hope everybody had a nice Easter. I I worked, so that's probably why I forgot to um, address that and ask about that. Because if I work, nobody should enjoy the holiday, right? But no, it was nice. I worked all weekend, but it was nice. I guess. I mean, you know, it is what it is. But anyway, they just want the candy anyway. That's about it. So, and that was given. That was definitely not forgotten. So, but I hope everybody else, I hope you all enjoyed your Easter and time with your family and the great weather. I don't know if everybody's having good weather, but here in California it's sunny and warm again. So, yeah, it's nice. I like it. I wish it could stay like this all year, but it won't. Pretty soon it'll be hot as hell. And yeah, we're never happy though, are we? It's like there's always something that we want better or more of or less of, or we're just never content. But that's okay. Um, so yeah, that is that, and I will probably go live tomorrow, Tuesday, April 7th, because I wanted to give some updates on some of the trials that, or some of the cases that I've been covering. The Kalia Toll case, the mother who went out and partied with her friends to have a little high school time and left her two babies home alone for 6 days. That case, she had a hearing, and the Mimi Torres case, the 11-year-old whose body was found in a storage bin behind an abandoned house in New Franklin, Connecticut. Her mom and her aunt had another hearing, so I kind of wanted to talk about that. And it seems like there was one more. Oh, and I wanted to go over some of not Kimberly Park's court papers, filing papers. She's the sister of Rebecca Park, the young mother to be that was 38 weeks pregnant when she went missing, and her biological mom and stepfather have now been charged with her unaliving and the removal of her fetus while she was still alive, mind you. And they have yet to find the body of the fetus. The baby, I don't even know why they call it a fetus, because at 38 weeks, that baby's viable. That baby was probably born breathing, and all the baby needed was to have the airway cleaned out, and he or she probably would have survived. But if you saw these people, you would understand that they wouldn't even think of that. I mean, they don't look like the brightest bulbs in the box, so to speak, so that doesn't surprise me at all. But they have yet to tell the police where the body is, and so they have never found the body of that baby. But anyway, Kimberly is her sister, who is also being charged with um, obstruction and delaying the investigation and whatnot. She's not being charged with any of the murder parts, but she's being charged in connection with the case. So, and I finally found some of her court filings, so I wanted to kind of go over those. And I think that's about it. So, um, um, in the meantime, stay safe, stay happy, stay dry, and stay warm if it's cold where you are. Um, and I hope to see you soon. Hopefully tomorrow you'll join me. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and that's it. Ciao for now. Bye.